Hi, Lindy. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Kate, it's lovely to be with you.
So, we only met quite recently, but I'm really fascinated by the work that you're doing. Can you start by telling us what your world is and what you're up to?
Of course, I'd love to. Okay, so my world is basically frequency medicine. We're running a center in Totnes, but we'll be closing that shortly. It was almost a proof of concept. So we've been running that for about 3.5 years. We now have proof of concept that these technologies work. We've
Right.
seen them work over and over with our clients. And so we're expanding now into taking it to the masses, really. And so to that end, I set up a company at the beginning of this year called Wellhub World. And it's about empowering and educating people around frequency medicine, giving them the ability to be able to buy these technologies and have them at home. There's a whole range of technologies, and they all do different things, but just to have one piece of kit in your home can be life changing for many, many people.
So, how did you get introduced to them? What was the first machine that you came across yourself?
Okay, so I had heard about Rife technology, but almost like in whispered tones. Um, and so my journey has been through cancer. I'm on my third cancer journey. I am BRCA positive, and so they tell me that I could have cancer up to 7 times in my lifetime.
Mm.
So um, my first journey was the conventional route because, I ended up with breast cancer. There are no signs of it other than you find a lump, and suddenly you're in this system, hurtling down this rail track towards a wall. Um, well, that's what it feels like. It may sound a bit dramatic, but it kind of feels like that. You're having to make decisions about surgery, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and actually, I was none the wiser.
Mm.
So it was not my favorite season. I ended up with double pneumonia and nearly died. So coming out of that, I already decided, well, I am going to be better informed next time. Having been told that there probably would be another time, I was ready.
Mm.
So I started to make inquiries about Rife technology specifically. And so when the second diagnosis came 5 years later, it actually found the lump at the appointment where I was supposed to be discharged from the system, all clear. Um, the first thing I did was I knew I wasn't going to go down the conventional route again. And I knew that what I needed was a Rife machine. And I actually didn't really know where to start, but I started to engage the energetic world. So, I had already started to teach myself about energy, internal energy, how to get my energy to work for me, not against me, and understanding the quantum field and how to manifest things in the quantum field. And so I started to do some work energetically. And I got in contact with a guy from the States. He was a veteran and he worked with other veterans to raise the money to buy a specific Rife device and help them uh, reverse their cancer diagnoses. So he was just the perfect man for me to connect with. He actually helped me source the machine, so I managed to buy a machine, got it delivered. Buying the machine was quite challenging because the company. This is probably I would rate it the most powerful Rife machine on the market.
Mm.
However, it doesn't get sold as a machine because they've had the FDA try to close them down many times. And so now they sell it as a musical instrument. And so you have to buy the generator in one place and the plasma tube somewhere else and the antenna somewhere else and pull it together. And um, but he helped me do that. And so I utilized that machine to clear the tumor, which was very exciting and terrifying all at the same time.
Are there many
Because
people making rife machines in the world right now?
yes, there are. There are a vast range of different machines out there, and it can be a little bit intimidating knowing which ones to use.
Mm.
So I was really fortunate in being able to make contact with somebody who knew this particular device inside and out and had helped people treat cancer with it, over and over and over and over.
Right. And are most of them in the States, or are they all over the world?
No, most of those people are in the States.
And so do they all do that where they're selling it as something else?
Oh, you mean the rife companies?
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about the people. So the companies are all over the world.
Okay.
And so it depends where they are. A lot of them are not in the States. If they're in the States, they have to kind of sail below the radar. I know one of the guys actually moved from the States and went to China, because it was like, I can
Right.
escape that whole world if I go and locate somewhere else. So there are a whole host of different machines out there.
Right, right. And so the rife machine, how long did it take of you using it before you started to see a reversal of your?
Okay, so it was quite an interesting journey because actually you don't know what's going on in your body. So
Right,
I was using it every single day. Um, and I had to build it up because my body was having die-off symptoms, and so I started with the kind of a pathogen devitalization program, detox, and kind of work my way through various protocols. And I think that's what we can bring to people in saying, look, we can help you. This is the best way for you to do this. I've tried this. This is I'm actually currently reversing a terminal cancer diagnosis, which kind of came from nowhere, which was the original cancer metastasized into the bones. But I'm using that with all sorts of other technologies. In fact, I'm all plugged in today. I've got my microgen going, which is a micro rife generator.
Ah,
So this is what I use for on the go treatment, because you can program this with various things. And this week, having muscle tested my body, this week, what I'm doing is I'm doing inflammation and I'm doing immune boosting with this machine. So I've programmed a 4-hour program in here. I plug in the TENS pads, I pop my TENS pads on, pop it in my pocket, and then get on with my life.
right.
Um, and so there are various technologies out there around rife.
Mm, mm. I know you've made some little videos for us, and I think we'll add them onto the end so people can get like a better idea and actually see the machines in action. But that's one of the things I wanted to get into today is um, maybe to start with because you hear about these things. Let's just start with what is frequency medicine to you? How would you define frequency medicine?
Okay, so I'm going to start with what what enabled me to grab a hold of this concept with rife technology right at the beginning. So I heard it described that um, each organism has a frequency, and if you deliver that frequency, the organism will pull on that frequency until it explodes. So it's like the opera singer and the glass.
Mm.
When the opera singer gets to the resonant pitch of the glass will explode because it can't hold, it will pull on that frequency. So the way that rife technology works is to either deliver the frequency of the pathogen that you're looking to devitalize, or it will deliver the frequency. So what I'm doing is with the immune boosting is it's delivering a frequency that will boost my immune system. So because Rife technology has been around for over 60 years, there's been a lot of research on this. There are a lot of data, frequency databases. And so it's such an amazing resource, because a lot of these databases are free to use if you can get your hands on them. And many of the technologies, many of the machines come with the programmed frequencies in them. So with the GB4000, for instance, so that was the one I used the first time round. That can deliver 8 frequencies at the same time. It's the only machine on the market that can do that. So actually, when you're wanting to be time efficient, it's a very powerful tool. However, your body can very easily become overwhelmed, whereas with the microgen, it's just delivering one frequency at a time. And so if I keep myself well hydrated and I know how to actually detox, my body keeps on top of the process. But actually, what frequency does is it devitalizes pathogens. So Rife machines, whilst they have other functionalities like boosting and detoxification through circulation, it's their primary function is to devitalize pathogens and parasites. So parasites is a huge subject, and medicine says there's no such thing, and yet when you start to do a parasite cleanse and you discover that actually, yes, look what's coming out of me, it's interesting.
Yeah. So who was Rife? Tell us about Rife.
He was a fascinating man. His name was Raymond Royal Rife. He lived in California, and he was set to win the Nobel Peace Prize. That was because he was sent from Pasadena Hospital. He was sent 16 terminal cancer patients. And with them came a host of medical staff that were actually going to track the progress of, and some of them, they expected these people to die, but they expected that in the autopsy, they may be able to see if there was any improvement.
Right.
And actually, he cleared the cancer in every single one of them. 14 he cleared within a month, and then it took 2 more months. He had to readjust it for the last 2, and it took another 2 months to clear the other 2. Right. So he stumbled across this. Actually, it wasn't that he was trying to develop a Rife machine. He developed the world's strongest microscope. And so he discovered that when he put organisms under the microscope, he discovered that frequency could kill them.
Right.
And so it was almost like oh my goodness. Well, what happens if we actually start to target various things with various frequencies? Is this a cure to disease?
Right. And when was this, did you say?
So this was in the 50s.
Right. And what happened to him? Why did he?
Well, yes. He was approached by Big Pharma.
Yeah.
And his passion was to put this into the hands of every man. And it didn't take, I think it was within a couple of years, his primary research facility burned down.
Right.
And he ended up in hospital, and with a lethal overdose.
Right.
He administered a lethal overdose in hospital accidentally.
Right.
Yeah.
This was all in the 60s, 50s.
Yeah. And you got to just read between the lines as to
Yeah,
all could have happened accidentally.
yeah. So you used the Rife machine and you had great success with it. What made you start looking at the other devices as well?
So once I'd cleared the tumor, I knew that everything had changed for me. I knew that my life was never going to go back to being what I was doing before. And so I started to look at other technologies. You know, I was like, there are so many, there are so many. So I had bought this machine. So I started to use it on friends and family. And then I started to diversify and buy other machines. And then we set up at the center in Totnes, almost as a let's see what happens kind of thing.
Yeah,
And so we had people coming through with Lyme's disease and lupus, and it's the things that literally medicine has no solutions to.
yeah,
And so those are the people that are desperate enough to say, look,
right.
try anything, can this help? And so we have learned a lot about how to work with the body to self-heal.
Mm,
And I think there's this misconception that in order to take responsibility for our health, we need to be medically trained or we need to know something about something. I have no medical training. Out of absolute need, I've taught myself how to listen to my body, understand my body, because our body talks to us all the time. And we're just not accustomed to being able to listen to it and hear what or understand what it's saying, you know.
mm,
Um, so starting to see amazing results with the technologies, that's when we started to go, okay, so now we're going to start to expand this. And my passion is to make this available for people so that people can start to use it as a preventative, not as a cure.
right,
Because if you can use this as a keep healthy tool,
right.
is so much easier than using it as a healing tool.
Yeah. So what was the machine you got next after the Rife machine?
So after the Rife machine, we got a Beamer machine, which is a pulsed electromagnetic frequency. So that works on circulation. So it kind of goes well with the Rife machine, because the first thing you're going to do is you're going to blast those pathogens. What's going to happen is they're going to explode inside of your body. That means that your body then has to process what we call die-off.
Right,
And when they explode, they release toxins. And so if you can start to use an aid to boost your circulation, then actually those two modalities work well together. And
right,
the reason why we went for Beamer is because Beamer focuses on microcirculation. Pardon me. And microcirculation, your microvessels make up 70% of your body. So if you can get those working well, and they're transporting oxygen to the cells and they're transporting the toxins out of the cells, it helps with the healing process tremendously.
right. And where does Beamer come from? Was it a Mr. Beamer?
Beamer comes from Germany.
Uh-huh.
It's a company that they are quite renowned because they build astronaut suits for NASA.
Huh?
Because obviously, when you're in space, you can't get out and have a walk and exercise and keep the circulation going. So that's kind of where it started. A lot of these technologies started because there was a specific need for something, and then it branched out into.
Yeah. And do they have to go under the radar as well, the Beamer?
No, no, they're quite well known. They are very careful about the claims that they make, and a lot of people utilize it as a wellness aid as
Yeah.
opposed to a healing aid. And I think that's the safety for any company. And that's what companies are trying to do. They're trying to say, this is not going to heal you, this is going to keep you well.
Right.
We actually know that if something is going to keep you well, the likelihood is it's going to help you heal as well. But we just have to be careful how we word things, because Big Brother's watching.
Yes, literally. Um, and can you tell us the difference between Reich and Reich? I think it's very confusing. They've got such similar names. Can you tell us about Reich technology?
I actually don't know Reich technology at all. So yeah, can't comment on that one.
Reich. He made devices, similar devices as well, didn't he?
I don't know him.
Okay.
I
What about
haven't.
the scalar? Use the scalar.
Oh yes, we use the scalar. So my understanding is that was a Tesla invention.
Uh-huh.
And I do apologize for that. I have alarms to tell me when to take my various supplements through the day, because when you're reversing a terminal cancer diagnosis, you have to give your body all the help it needs. So scalar technology is pretty amazing. What scalar technology does is it revitalizes cells. So actually, it's interesting that you hop there, because we started with the pathogen. For me, there's a three-pronged approach to restoring health. The first one is pathogen devitalization, the second one is detox, and the third one is cell revitalization.
Right.
And the scalar machine, or the scalar device, is a cell revitalization device of note. It basically reboots the mitochondria. And so, at that level, restoration and rejuvenation starts to take place within the cells. And so the body can start to refunction. The other thing, so one of the things you talked about right in the beginning was frequency medicine. So I'm just going to bring that back into this, because one of the things that we don't necessarily understand is that our body is not just a biological system, it's an energetic system. And so medicine approaches our body as a purely biological system. And if we can re-energize the cells, if we can put the right amount of energy back into the cells, those cells begin to self-heal and regenerate. So energy medicine and frequency is as much about energizing the cells as it is about devitalizing the pathogens, because it's those two things that work together to actually take disease and replace it with a healthy cell.
Right. And that's what the scalar's doing.
Yeah, that's what the scalar does.
Right. And so do you recommend people use them all in conjunction?
So obviously, if you have endless resources to finances, wonderful. Let's help you set up a wellness hub in your home, and we can talk you through which technologies to get, how to use them. Great. That isn't the case for most people. Most people have to decide, I would like to invest in my health. And that's the key here, is that we need to start to look at this as an investment. I want to invest in my health, and I don't know what the best thing is to use to invest in my health. And I suppose that's where we come into the picture, because we can, we have quite comprehensive health forms. We can talk you through what's going on for you. And okay, so really what you need is, this is the number one device that you need. And then when you can afford the next one, we recommend you get this one. But actually starting here will revolutionize your health and well-being.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm excited about the Care, because I feel like that's what that's doing, is making it accessible. Can you talk about your experience with that?
Yes, absolutely. So one of the most fascinating things about that device, and I actually haven't experienced it with any of the other devices. So when you become tuned into your body's energy, you can feel the energy. So when I walk into a scalar field, oof, I can feel the sensation in my
Right.
body.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can feel it. When I'm using the rife frequency, I can feel the technology. The thing that's fascinating about the terahertz is that when you blow it on your body literally tells you where it wants you to blow it. Because so when I blow it, I'll be deciding, okay, I'm just going to get the device out and see what my body's wanting. And I'll basically just start to fan my body until it's like my body just goes, there,
Right.
stop.
Right.
Just, and it's like your body is telling you the deliciousness of that frequency that it's experiencing right now. And there's such a sense of um, I want to use the word pleasure, because when you hit the spot that your body does not want you to move that device off that spot.
Right.
And so, you know, you can then use it for a seat. I use it as a hair dryer all the time because actually it's so incredibly good. It's reversing my gray hair. It's causing my hair to grow.
I
So
did the mirror the other day and I thought my hair was getting darker. Do you think that's what it is?
it will be. Honestly, it will be. The interesting thing is I'm right-handed, okay? So I use it and I blow dry my hair when I wash my hair. And last time I had my hair cut, the lady who was cutting my hair said, so interesting. She said, the hair on the right-hand side of your head is much thicker than the hair on the left-hand side. And of course, I hadn't even thought about the fact that I probably spend a lot of time wanding here and very little time wanding here. So
Right.
now I'm conscious about that.
Right.
So I'm now making sure that, you know, my whole head gets the same amount.
Right. I was in Wales and I thought maybe it's just the light, but because I
No,
was looking in a different mirror, I thought I think my hair's getting darker again. I wonder what I didn't think, because I have been doing I do it like once a week usually.
there you go. Yeah. It's a fantastic piece of kit. It really is. And so affordable and accessible
Yeah,
for so many people. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about your understanding of what terahertz is?
So terahertz, there again, is a revitalization. So it delivers the frequency of a healthy cell.
Right,
Okay, so that's the terahertz frequency, is the frequency of a healthy cell. And so basically what it's doing is it's delivering that frequency so that unhealthy cells can pull on that frequency to
right,
re-energize
right,
to a healthy frequency.
right, right. Amazing. And are there any other devices that you use a lot that we haven't talked about yet?
Um, Actually, I think that's probably it.
Can you
So
tell us
we
about the water? Because you're really into charging the water, aren't you? When I came to there was like about five choices. It's like you want the grander water, the Skender water, the oxygenated water.
yes, yeah. I mean, water is such an underrated healer. So that's the other fantastic thing about the iTerahertz. Um, so we're very aware that water is dirty, and so we use filters to clear out the impurities in the water. But what that does is it destructures the water. So we've got this, you know, we want clean water, but when we clean it, it's destructured, and destructured water does not permeate the cell membrane anywhere near as efficiently as structured water does.
Right.
So actually, you know, sometimes we can be drinking lots of water and still not feel hydrated or still not be hydrated, because actually the water can't get through that cell membrane at anywhere near the rate it needs to in order to be able to keep us well hydrated and to be doing that good detox process. So the wonderful thing about the terahertz is that it structures the water, and it only takes a minute. So what I tend to do is I have a device in my kitchen. Every morning I filter my water, I put it in my jug, and then I
Well,
charge, yeah,
yeah,
charge the water, so that's my water for the day.
right,
Um, when we use that kind of water, and I'm talking about that because if you're going to buy a device, actually that's a no-brainer that you're going to use that device to do it. But there's also grander plates, and there's, if you decide to go down the scalar route, you can scalarize your water, with the device. We also have hydrogen water, and we also have copper water. Copper water is really good for parasites. So it's a really good detoxing. The problem is that you need to put structured water into the copper, or
right,
got the same issue going on.
right.
Uh, but yeah, I think with you having been to the center, you've seen how passionate we are about our varieties of water.
Mm.
And the interesting thing is, I can actually taste the difference.
Yeah.
So when I'm in the center, and somebody says, "Do you want a glass of water?" And I go, "Oh, surprise me." And then they'll bring me a glass, and then it's like, "Oh, let me see if I can, guess which one it is. So yeah, you
I
can
used to
actually.
have the little, the implosion technology devices. It's like a
Mhm.
sperm with imploded water in, and it used to be a party trick because I used to be at parties and I used to like put it in the water, and everyone would be able to taste the difference. And this is not like people at a health conference. This is like literally everyone's drinking alcohol, and I'm there with my party trick, my
Yeah, yeah, it makes water taste good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Brilliant. So you got a conference coming up. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yes, very exciting. It's the 15th to the 17th of September. So you can either come for one day. What we're really recommending is, because we're creating an immersive experience, really, it's really a retreat. So we're really encouraging people to come for the 3 days if they can. You'll be able to try all the technologies. All the technologies will be there for you to actually sample and see. We'll have a lot of consultants on hand, so you can chat to them and ask questions. But we're also going to have 3 days teaching on, explaining the energy in the body, and explaining cellular health,
Mhm.
and explaining internal energy, and clearing the gateways and somatic detoxes. And we'll have a sound bath, and we'll have various meditations, and we'll have quantum field. We'll be doing quantum field work. And our passion is to see people by the end of the third day completely empowered to take back their health story, their health journey. It's about health autonomy. We've abdicated responsibility for our health, because we've been told that actually we don't know enough to be able to look after ourselves, and so we have to go and see the experts.
Yeah.
And actually it's a nonsense.
Well, I hear so many shocking stories, and I'm sure you do too, of people like you go to the doctor and they don't ask you, "Are you hydrated?" or "What are you eating?" or anything like that, and they're happy to prescribe all these conditions and give you all these things. And to my mind, it's like you're not even checking if people are like that would be the first thing. Someone comes to me, it's the first thing I check is how are your hydration levels.
Yeah,
It's like it's shocking the level to which people can go down the medical pathway without having the basic essentials checked before they start putting them on that. What did you call it at the beginning? It's like a conveyor belt, isn't it?
yeah, I felt like I was on this rail track steaming ahead to a brick wall, is what it felt like to me.
Right,
And
right.
I mean, I remember the day that the doctor came and stood at the bottom of my bed. I was in hospital because it had metastasized into the bones. I had broken a hip. I also had broken ribs. And so ended up in hospital. And the doctor stood at the end of the bed, and he said, "You won't be leaving, you have terminal cancer, and you won't be leaving hospital." And I looked at him and I said, I'm really sorry to tell you this, but you do not have the authority to tell me when
Amazing.
I'm going to die.
Yeah, well done.
And he was so completely taken aback. They are so used to just being treated like God
Mm.
that, if I say you're going to die, you're going to die, And it took 2 months before I was actually I could be, well, I had to have a hip replacement, and then my hip had to heal. And my body was already ravaged with cancer, and yet my hip, but I already had all sorts of things up my sleeve. So one of the things that I had up my sleeve was a supplement called ASEA.
Mm.
I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about that, because I
Mm.
had some at home in my office, and I phoned my daughter. I said, bring all the bottles you can find, bring my laptop so I can order some more. So ASEA is redox signaling molecules. And
Mm.
so it is a naturally occurring substance in the body. And there's this one company in the world that have discovered how to make them and how to suspend them in a saline solution so that they can be transportable. And what signaling molecules do is that they work with the immune system to signal an issue in the body. So as we get older or with disease, our body doesn't produce enough signaling molecules for the immune system to be able to do what it needs to do. So that was the first thing I started to do, was to take those. But I also started to do the energy work that I had taught myself around the mind-body connection.
Right.
And I also made sure that I constantly challenged every thought around death. So every doctor that came and, would mentioned anything, I would challenge them. I'm sorry, but you're wrong. I'm not going to be dying. I understand that that's what the science tells you. I want to tell you, I'm not your statistic.
Mm.
So I was actively engaging with a different
Right.
choice every single day.
Because that's what's so shocking to me as well, is that they'll give people, when we know the power of your thoughts
Mhm,
to shape
mhm.
your life, they give people these kind of diagnoses, and then they just send them off.
Yeah,
Like, they
absolutely.
just
Yeah,
send people to go home on the bus with
yeah,
no emotional counselling, no support. Oh, you're going to die in 6 months, bye. And then people have to get on a bus and go home.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's so crazy.
So, you know, in their defense, I think what we need to understand is that Big Pharma funds all medical schools. So, in the 40s and the 50s, when you looked at medical journals, probably 60-70% of medical journals were actually nutrition based.
Right,
And what heals, how to get the body to self-heal.
right,
So we now in a place where all the doctors that come out are actually only schooled
yeah,
in which chemical to give for which condition.
yeah,
And so I do believe that the medical fraternity are people who want to help people.
right,
They just they've just been duped.
right,
That's their education. Their education is, this is what's going to make everyone better. And
right,
we all know that the pharmaceutical companies are not creating cures, they're creating customers,
yeah,
because this is going to fix this, but you're going to come back in 5 years' time, because when you've got the side effects of this happening in your body, then we'll give you this drug and that will fix this. But then, in 10 years' time,
yeah, yeah. And we know what happens to people who try and challenge the pharmaceutical narrative.
yeah, and that's okay. So long as there are enough of us out there with a different voice,
Yeah,
working with the people who actually want to make different choices.
yeah, yeah. So where is your conference?
Our conference is in Bristol,
Uh-huh.
and the place to find details are on our website, which is www.wellhub.world.
Mhm.
Um,
And if people are watching this after that date's passed, is that where they find out more about your work generally? That same
yeah,
website?
yeah, same website. So we talk about the at-home services that we do. We can help you set up the technology, buy the technologies, we train you on the technologies. If the technologies need programming, we program the technologies and either post them to you if that's what the package gives, or we deliver them to your home and train you up. And we also do quantum online sessions. So we've recently invested in a quantum biofeedback device. And so that's fantastic because we can treat people remotely, and it uses spectral voice analysis and picture energetic analysis.
Wow.
And yeah, it's a pretty amazing piece of kit. So we do those, and we also do quantum field coaching.
Amazing. Well, I'm so excited because I really do believe this is the future, like you're saying. I think everyone eventually, and hopefully in the not too distant future, is going to have access to all this technology widely, and it's going to make so much difference to people's lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much for everything you're doing.
And thank you for your raw agenda in teaching people how to do life with a different alternative. Yeah. And thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, here we are with our pulsed electromagnetic frequency device. And so what we do is we have the client recline and enjoy the frequency being pulsed into her body whilst benefiting her. Our particular choice is the beamer mat. We like the beamer because it focuses on the microvessels, and 70% of our body is made up of microvessels. So if you can maximize 70% of your body to get the blood flow maximized, what it's doing is it is exporting toxins out, and it's importing blood flow to the cells and bringing in oxygen. So actually, that in itself is a phenomenally healing and detoxifying effect on the body. So our particular choice for PEMF devices is the beamer. So what we have here is the scalar wave therapy. So on this side here, we have a transmitter, and on that side there, we have a receiver. And the transmitter and the receiver talk to each other to create an oval-shaped wave of energy in the middle of the two devices. So the client comes and sits in the device and is then able to allow their body to absorb the scalar energy. So scalar energy is incredibly revitalizing. In the context of who we are and what we do, we talk about the pathogen devitalization, the detox, and then the cellular revitalization. This is one of the tools, one of the devices that we use for cell revitalization. So for me personally, after the journey that I had with chemotherapy, before I was au fait with how to treat cancer naturally, this device was amazing in helping the stickiness in my blood and the clottiness of my blood. I'm going to stay away from any technical terms because actually, as just a layperson, you want to know how's this going to help you. This activates the mitochondria. This boosts the immune system. This actually goes right into the nucleus of the cell, releasing that energy that revitalizes at that level. So what we have here is the HOCAT. And this is ozone, it's far infrared, it's photon light therapy, it's color therapy, it's aromatherapy, it's got right frequencies in it. It's just a whole treatment all in one. And what you see is our client sitting in here fully clothed, but normally you would change, put a towel around you and come in. Once we've closed the machine and set the machine going, you would take your towel off. It heats up because it's got heat therapy in there, and it delivers the ozone at a transdermal level. So actually your whole body is being treated, and it has the capacity to add features or take features off depending on whatever it is that you're wanting to benefit from this machine. So this device is a Rife frequency device, and there are many devices on the market. This I would consider one of the most powerful devices on the market. It can also deliver 8 frequencies at the same time, so it's very time efficient when it comes to treating yourself. And this is the device that I used for my second cancer journey. My first cancer journey I went conventional. I knew I wasn't going to do that again, so the second time around I went for the natural frequency route. So this machine, it's different from some of the other machines because it isn't contact. It isn't a contact machine. Some of the other machines that we have are contact machines, whereas this machine has there's a generator at the bottom which sends the frequency into the amplifier, and the amplifier then pulsates that frequency through this plasma tube. So you sit next to the machine and you get treated while you're enjoying a cup of coffee, reading a magazine, doing your meditation, whatever it is that you want to do that's going to help you on your healing journey. This is the big mama of Rife machines. So what we have here is the Avicen. This is a drug-free pain relief device. So it is classified as a medical device by the FDA, so they've jumped through all the hoops that prove that this does what it says it does. So the way that you use this is with a mitt. You place your hand in the mitt and then you place your hand into the device. What will happen is that the cuff will begin to seal and the palm of your hand will heat up. Now, what they say is that treatment with this device delivers the same effect into the body as hyperbaric oxygen chamber. So, prior to statement, we have seen amazing results being achieved with this wonderful piece of pain management. Right, so this piece of kit is the Microgen. So it's a micro Rife generator. And basically you program your frequencies in here. And this is a contact Rife machine. So what's so wonderful about this is that this is for on-the-go treatment. So we're busy people, we can't all afford to spend hours in front of a machine. So this way you get to decide what it is that you're going to treat. You pop your TENS pads on. So this is kind of the universal position. So this is such an incredible tool for whatever it is that you're wanting to do. If you're wanting to treat gut health, it's a tool. If you're wanting to detox, it's a tool. If you're wanting to revitalize, it's a tool. This piece of kit is a very, very special piece of kit. And it comes with a lanyard. So you just hang it around your body. It comes with a USB charger. So you pop that into a USB port and you're charging your device. It can run for about a day and a half on a full charge. So you just charge it at night, the next day you're good to go. Very amazing little piece of kit. What we have here is the electronic gem therapy machine. So you will see that behind me is the machine. It is a lovely piece of kit, very simple to operate. And you've basically got the color guide here. You've got green, blue, orange, or red. And depending on which gemstones you use will depend on which program you choose. So what we're doing today here is a an assemblage point realignment, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So you'll probably be able to see the back lamp shining onto my client's back, and there's a lamp that is shining in the front that will meet in the body. So what we're doing here is we are realigning the assemblage point. So there's a train of thought that says that the heart chakra is the key chakra to the energy that comes up this way and the energy that goes down this way. And if this energy is not properly aligned, it can cause illness and disease. So by using the energy of carnelian that gets radiated in through the heart chakra, it recalibrates that, that point of access, and it brings the body back into balance. So that is one of the amazing treatments that we can use this machine for.